What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 hot takes that I think could happen next year for the 2021-2022 season. Now, do I by no means think any of these 5 things could happen? I mainly think like more of a what if. What if these did happen? Wouldn't that be insane? And that there is a legit possibility of these things happening. If you guys like to see another hot takes video, make sure to show support on this one. Like the video, subscribe if you guys are new. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. I plan on pumping out tons of content, which I have been every other day. And yeah, let's hop into it. So some of these are a mix of player and team standings. I'm only going to be talking about 5 for today's video. But like I said, if you guys would like to see another one, let me know. Also, comment down below any hot takes you guys think could potentially happen next year. And I will make a video about it and we'll talk about them as well. One thing I was thinking about doing is having maybe some forum page, or maybe having everyone showing support on Instagram or something, just some way that I can put out questions for videos like this, like give me hot takes for next season and just stuff like that. Maybe I'll start doing that on my Instagram. So if you guys do not follow me on Instagram, I'll have the link in the top of the description. Go follow me. Maybe I'll post stuff in my story there, just saying, pretty much just saying, give me some hot takes for next season, or give me some trades, and I'll let you guys know if I think it's a good trade or not. We'll react to it to some videos, just stuff like that. I would like to interact with you guys a little bit more. So the first one I got written down here is that Vegas doesn't finish the top of the Pacific. Now, Vegas, since entering the NHL, has been one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. So this kind of would be a shock, especially with how weak the Pacific Division is. The only team that people are talking about giving Vegas a run for their money for first is Edmonton, and a lot of people aren't even giving love to Vancouver. Like, I think Vancouver has the crazy depth. The only thing that's a little iffy is their defense, but if their defense pulls it around and plays well and their offense carries them, I do think Vancouver could finish the top of the Pacific. I think any team could. The one thing that hurts Vegas is their loss of Marc-Andre Fleury. Robin Lehner's going to have to pull his weight and be that #1 goaltender that he kind of signed for, as well as their center depth is terrible, to be honest. Vegas does not have very good center depth, so I'm very intrigued on how their offense is going to look for next year. They might have to make a trade to acquire another centerman just because it's not looking very good. Like right now, if the NHL starts, they have William Karlsson as their first line center with Pacioretty and Stone. Then they got Chandler Stevenson as their second line center. They have Nolan Patrick on the third line center position, who I think can play third line center, but just isn't really the best. I still would like to see him develop on that bottom pair. And then they got Wall playing on that fourth line role, which is fine. But their center depth just isn't that good. When you look at a team like Vancouver, for example, even Edmonton, who's got McDavid, Draisaitl, it's like, how do you compete with that? They could have McDavid, Nuge, like they just have tons of options. Vancouver's got PD, Horvat, Dickinson, like there's just tons of options. They could have Miller as well as a third line center. It's just crazy, and I just think that's going to be what hurts Vegas in their potential chance of finishing atop the Pacific. So in the second is kind of one that could bust before I even upload this video, and that's Jack Eichel does not get traded next year. I think Jack Eichel might tough it out with the Buffalo Sabres, and he might have no choice. For someone like that, it's super hard to make a trade because he's not even going to start the season healthy, so no team's going to want to trade a key piece for a player that's not even going to be in their lineup and go against the cap, $10 million against the cap for a player that's injured. And then once the season's starting, a team that I think could acquire him isn't going to want to give up pieces because they're probably already going to be playing good. Like a team that would acquire Eichel is going to be a team that's not rebuilding because they want to add extra boost and push and make the playoffs, but that team probably already is doing good, so they don't want to give up any pieces because they're already doing pretty well because the season's already started. And then any team that's bad is not going to want to give up future picks for Jack Eichel because they're tanking. They need those future picks. I just don't see it happening. The only team in my eyes that I could possibly see Jack Eichel going is LA, just simply because LA could still compete even with another player like Jack Eichel. I just don't know what team's going to be able to give up enough during the season to get the Eichel trade done. I think this time next year we will be talking about Jack Eichel and seeing if he gets traded still. My third one is that Cole Caulfield does not win the Calder. Now this one I don't know if it is much of a hot take. I consider it one because everyone has Caulfield above the top for the Calder race. In everyone's eyes, it's pretty much a no doubt that Cole Caulfield's going to win the Calder. I just think there's a huge possibility that he doesn't. I think Montreal is going to be way worse than they were last year. And I know Caulfield came in and made an immediate impact, and he's a good hell of a player. I just don't know if he'll be able to keep that up in a full season when the Montreal Canadiens don't play very well. He was lucky that they were winning games and they were looking pretty good, but I think next year they're going to take a step back. They're in a very, very tough division. All the teams in their division are honestly very good, and I do see Montreal looking on the outside looking in when it comes to a playoff spot next year. But yeah, that's my hot take there. For number 4, it's the Florida Panthers finish atop the NHL. Now I'm going to be doing an NHL standings video where I show you guys who I think and where every team's going to finish in the standings. But I guess I'll spoil this one already. My hot take is that the Florida Panthers finish atop the NHL. They added Sam Reinhart, which is just nasty. They already have Barkov. They have Huberdeau, which is probably the best left winger in the NHL. Super underrated player. I think the Florida Panthers are a team to be reckoned with. Now, I'm not 100% sure when they get Aaron Ekblad back, but that'll help them out a ton as well, as their defense is actually very solid. My 4th and final one is probably the craziest one, and I don't even think this is going to happen. I just thought, let's talk about it. And it's that a different team, a team other than the Arizona Coyotes or Buffalo Sabres, finished last. Now let's chat about what teams that could be. Realistically, the only teams I could see doing that is the Anaheim Ducks, the LA Kings, maybe Detroit. Maybe. They should improve, but maybe Detroit. Honestly, I think that's it. It's between those teams. So it would be kind of crazy and blow my mind personally if it wasn't the Arizona Coyotes or the Buffalo Sabres that finished last in the NHL. I think they're pretty much a shoo-in fighting for that very last and second to last spot. It's just kind of who's going to be worse, essentially. It's a tough call. It is a really tough call. I do think Arizona's got worse players on their team than Buffalo does, so I do think Arizona could, but my hot take here is that one of those two do not finish. It would be absolutely crazy to me if one of those two teams did not finish dead last in the NHL. But that is it from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you agree with any of these hot takes, let me know. Comment down below any hot takes you guys would like to see me talk about in another one, and I will create another one of these. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, it would mean a lot if you guys subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.